this again because, okay, I come from a background of a lot of trauma and assault in the worst way a woman can be assaulted, okay, from a very young age. And so, like, I was an alcoholic, but when I was introduced to Islam, it wasn't even by someone trying to tell me to be a Muslim either. But because of meeting that person and learning about Islam, I started deep diving into Islam. Okay, and so what was wild was that my nafs just naturally changed, and at the time I didn't even know what your nafs were. Okay, so I'm just making sense of some of this stuff in a deeper level. Okay, today of and yesterday, but so it came naturally for me to just be different. People who have known me my whole life could see the noor on my face and the smile. Even my own children, Mom, I've never seen you this happy. I've never seen you with that kind of smile. And everyone attributed it to a specific person. Now, I'm realizing after my mother passed away that it set me back to square one with my nafs. I wanted to not exist anymore. It was one hardship after another. Not only her passing away, but it made me relive some childhood trauma of watching my father pass. Okay, so this just rattled my mind. Well, up until this point, I was great. I was doing well. I was reading my Quran. I was watching Dawah. I was just deep diving into researching, and every time I have a question, I look it up, right? So after my mom died, that grief, like, I didn't stop loving Allah or Islam. I was just indifferent to anything at that point. And so, like I said, I had to be put into a season of absolute wilderness by Allah to get me to fully be reliant and loving and trusting and changing my nafs again to where I actually found complete joy in the worst wilderness of my life, right? So then I faced another hardship right around the same time I finally stopped grieving my mom after about a year and a half. And so it was another big loss, and it rattled me. And I'm sitting here for the last few days watching this amazingly intelligent dude I usually see his little videos on TikTok, but deeply watching him on YouTube as well as some other sheiks. Okay, so I deep dive into this stuff. I love learning about it and getting more and more knowledge. And since I have been struggling so much with making dua, not seeing things changing, I mean, I started seeing myself like trying not to feel like a victim or like Allah doesn't love me or anything, but I found myself like judging myself. You're not good enough. Why aren't you good at this? Things like that. And so I'm like, what's the deal here? And so your nafs are your inner thoughts. So my exterior is not going to change until I can purify my heart as to where it came naturally the first time. Now it's more of a challenge when a catastrophe does strike. And so it's teaching me a lot about myself and the areas where I'm reliant on myself or other people for things that I need from Allah, truly. So I started thinking about this after watching this guy's videos, and the fact that I feel just way better this evening after, like, I spent the last week, you've probably noticed I haven't posted much, but I've spent the last week just really like deep diving into Islam again, learning about the nafs, how to change your nafs, how to like really put Allah first in my life again. And I've noticed that like that was the missing piece, was that I was no longer deep diving and filling my mind and my heart and my spirit with nothing but Allah, the Quran, and researching this stuff on a deep level. So I have learned a tremendous amount, understanding things way deeper than I did before in certain areas, including like seriously the nafs. I mean, there's so much importance on changing your nafs, and it's not just talking negative to yourself in your mind. It's thinking negative about someone else. It's turning like thoughts of like it's having thoughts of lust, and then there are three different levels of your nafs too. So there's the thinking, there's doing, and then there's being aware and fully surrendering your nafs to Allah, which is the state that everybody should be trying to get to. But the only way to get there is to change your inner thoughts, which means recognizing Allah in every single thing you do, recognizing His mercy in everything that you do, realizing that nothing can harm you except for by the will of Allah. And what this guy was also saying was, when it says say in the Quran, it doesn't mean in your mind. It means physically say this stuff out loud. I mean, so starting to feel a lot better again, and it's becoming a lot easier to relax my face, my shoulders, and my whole body, and to begin to trust again. And I think it's amazing. So I guess it really is super, 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 super important that you don't think bad thoughts. I know that sheiks will tell you that thinking something isn't a sin if you don't act on it. But that's not true, because your thoughts are your nafs, and your thoughts are little dua. And if Allah truly answers every single dua that you ask, and you're granted it, then you're praying for like you're making dua for sin. So I'm going to try, and I'm not even going to try, I am going to start repeating those 3 things daily. And anytime that I have a negative thought for the last few days, instead of addressing myself as I or you, I'm calling myself by name. Aaron, you're okay. Aaron, you're safe. Aaron, you're loved. Aaron, you're successful. Just things like that. But yeah, anybody, you're welcome to give me your feedback down below. But I really do think that he's absolutely on to something. And he studied neuroscience, neuroplasticity, as well as the Quran, and I want to say quantum fits, like something else. But this dude, he has like a really great way of understanding and explaining things on a super deep level that has really been beneficial to me. And I feel like it might help other people who are not understanding why their external circumstances aren't changing. It's surrendering everything to Allah, including the bad thoughts, and speaking nothing but good, no matter what, about everyone and everything.